Now we will talk about lipid. The general properties of lipids are, we will also discuss about these things later. So here also I am giving the properties. These are of 800 Dalton. Okay, just remember its size. These are of 800 Dalton, but still it's not a macromolecule. So what does it mean? So micromolecules has the range of, if it is of till 800 Dalton, it will comes under the micromolecule. Okay, it is not a macromolecule obviously, right? But it will be found in the acid insoluble fraction. I hope you might be confused. What I am coming to say is, if it is a 800 Dalton, it is not a macromolecule. Agree? But still it is coming under the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, so if it is a micromolecule, it should be ideally in soluble fraction, but here it is an insoluble fraction. That is the unique nature of the lipid, because it has the properties of water insoluble. It is insoluble to the water. Okay, these are the properties of lipid. Now we will talk about the formations of lipid. The lipids can be of simple fatty acid, and this fatty acid can be formed by carboxyl group plus an variable group. In this variable group, there can be 1 to 19 carbons. Okay, so the fatty acids are formed by the carboxyl group with a variable group, and in this variable group, there can be 1 to 19 carbons. If we see the example, the palmitic acid, which is a fatty acid, contains 16 carbon including the carboxyl group. So the maximum number of carbon in the fatty acid can be 20, which includes a carboxyl group. That's why the R can contain only 1 to 19. Okay, so the palmitic acid, if we see, the R groups contain 15 carbon and the carboxyl group contain 1. So together it is 16 carbon. In case of arachidonic acid, the number of carbons will be 20. Okay, just remember the number of carbons, it will be asked. So these are the examples for fatty acid. Now these fatty acid are further divided into two types, which are saturated and unsaturated. So what is saturated? When it is present without double bond, it is saturated. Agree? And what is unsaturated? When it is present with one or more double bond, it is unsaturated. If you see, this is the example where it is not having any double bond, but here if you see, there are one double bond, right? That's why it is unsaturated. So lipids can be of fatty acid, and it can be also of glycerol. Glycerol is nothing but the trihydroxypropane, and this is the structure of the glycerol. So as of now, we discussed that the lipids can be of fatty acid or glycerol, and some lipids will contain both. Okay, now we will see about it. So some lipids will have both fatty acid and glycerol, and this is formed by the ester bond. These together are formed due to the ester bond. Okay, and these will also be called as fats or oils. Before that, whenever we say fatty acid plus glycerol, these will be classified into three types, which is monoglycerol, diglycerol and triglycerol. Okay, these are the classification, and this will be divided into further two divisions, which are nothing but fats and oil. What is fats and oil? Whenever it is having a high melting point, it is called as fats. Okay, but whenever it is having a low melting point, it is called as oil. So example, gingerly oil, it remains as oil even in winter. That's why it is having the low melting point and it is classified as oil. Now one more time I am repeating, lipids can be of simple fatty acid, simple glycerol, it can be formed by both using with the help of ester bond, and it is further classified as fats and oil based on the melting point. Okay, and we have another special type of lipids which are called as phospholipids, which this we already discussed in a previous chapter. If you could recall it, these are found in the cell membrane, right? Fluid mosaic model, when we are discussing about that, we talked about it. So phospholipids, it contains phosphorants and phosphorylated organic compound. These are found in cell membrane, and the example for this phospholipid is lecithin. Okay, and like neural tissue will have a complex structure of lipids. This is another important point. Here we talked about phospholipids, and the neural tissue will have the high complex structures of lipids. So to talk about the lipids, we discussed about property is 800 Dalton, but still it will be found in the acid insoluble. Then we discussed what are the types of lipids, fatty acid, glycerol, and then fatty acid plus glycerol, and what are the types in it, and we talked about the phospholipids. So next we will move to the nucleic acid topic.